definitely think our team has been training super hard these past 6 weeks getting back after winter break, and we definitely have a little bit of a chip on our shoulder from last year. I think that we definitely want to go to nationals this year and to prove ourselves to not only all the other teams but to ourselves that like we are deserving of it. I think we have a really great group this year that's put in a ton of effort. We're all here for each other, supportive, and like we have an extremely competitive environment at practice. It's very much pushing ourselves every day to try and get to our end goal, which is going to nationals. So.
For last year, you girls were 9-1, if I remember right, on home court. What is it about playing in Tempe and on those courts that has kind of created that kind of special environment, I guess, that you girls thrive in?
Yeah, I think we have a huge home field or home court advantage. Our sand is extremely deep, deeper than I want to say any beach really out there that I've had to play at before. So I think that our competitors definitely don't expect that or don't get to acclimate to that all the time, along with not all of them live in beautiful Arizona where it's 85 to 100 degrees when we start season. So I think that the heat in our sand definitely gives us that competitive edge.
What kind of emotions and memories kind of come to mind when you know that this is, the last time you'll be putting on the Sun Devil uniform for a season and things of that nature?
Yeah, it's definitely bittersweet. I think especially just playing since I was 9, it's kind of crazy that this chapter is going to end for me because I don't plan to play after college. So with that being said, I think every single time, whether it's a good or bad game, just taking that experience, that's my last time getting to do that. And it doesn't matter how it goes as long as I'm in a good headspace and I know that we're working towards our end goal.
How much have you thought about that Big 12 title match that you guys were so close against TCU? How much has that been kind of fueled throughout the off season?
Yeah, I definitely almost try not to think about it because when it boils down to it, it's like 2 points away from a ring. So I think that going into this next Big 12 championships and things like that, there's definitely a lot of drive, a lot of passion, and a lot of want coming from me and a lot of my teammates. We have a big senior class this year too, so a lot of us have nothing else to lose, and we just gotta leave it all out there.
I mean, it's a huge motivating factor, and I think the fall, just seeing how we did in the fall and the depth that we have and the experience that we have, we're not the team that, like in the past where we had, some really great transfers from other programs, but they didn't really have a whole lot of experience in the lineup. So now they're like coming in with a confidence this year, I feel like, and it's also a special year for me because I feel like, I'm in my 3rd season. It takes some time to build and get everyone to buy into what we're doing, and I love this group. I think they're super bought in.
What are the 1 or 2 things you look back on and say, okay, if we do these 1 or 2 things, then we can reach the goals we've set for ourselves?
Yeah, in practice, our biggest thing is just staying aggressive and really honing in on knowing who we are and not trying to play other teams' games and strategies, but rather like sticking to our own game plan because we know what works for us. And I think looking back, like our one downfall is maybe a little bit of tentativeness, especially it's the first Big 12 champs. It's a big game. We made it to the finals, and I think sometimes it's hard because those nerves can creep in. And this year, I think we all have just really, we see the sports psych as a team. We really buy into like the mental toughness side of our sport. And with that being said, we have a clear vision of like, this is what maybe went wrong for some pairs, some people, me and Samya included. And it's very similar for all of us. And now we can all help each other, cheer each other on louder when we feel tentative, like be able to tell on the sidelines, like, you got this, we believe in you. And I think that camaraderie is really gonna benefit us.
I think confidence was a big piece from last year, and just understanding, like, them seeing themselves how we saw them and just knowing that they had so much potential and were so capable. And I feel like we're seeing a lot of them like believe that, and you can just see in the way that they're competing, and I'm excited for that to come out in competition. So that was a huge growth from last year to this year, and just seeing the confidence that they have. And I think they're also seeing the work pay off. Like, there's a lot to be said about working super hard in the weight room and conditioning and like going through those hard things together. I think it also bonds you as a team. And this group is super close. Like, they all moved into the same apartment complex so they could be close to each other. And there's just that like closeness off the court too that we can't force as coaches. But like, I love that. That's a huge part of our success too, is like being, friends on and off the court. Like being able to compete and go against your friend for a spot, but also like walk off the court and know that like we're doing this for each other.
It's interesting you mentioned confidence, because Ava was saying that the whole team has done sports psych stuff and tried to build up the mental side this year in preparation for what's to come this season. How much have you kind of seen that already maybe paying dividends?
Yeah, that was actually another thing that I am seeing a big difference from last year is, last year was tough because we started off with the hardest possible schedule we could. We played all top 8 teams, and I think sometimes when you go in and play that competition and you don't have as much success as you would have liked to, it's a little bit of like, oh, like, am I really as good as I think I am, or like a little bit of questioning. And I just feel like their confidence level with the resources that we have here at ASU are like unmatched, and they have great sports psych department, and all of our athletes are really bought into growing in that area. So that has been a big thing that they've focused on over the last year.
How do you kind of deal with the weight of expectations in a sense too, I suppose, coming off a season where you set the record for most wins in a single season in program history?
Mm-hmm. I try not to think about it, to be honest. I honestly want to keep that underdog mentality. I think when you get caught up in expectations and what should happen, honestly, there's times where best teams in the country have lost to unranked teams, and it ebbs and flows. Our game is very different depending on the day, depending on the game, depending on the hour. So for me, I just try to focus on one game at a time. I don't want to think longevity. I know me and Samya could be any team in the country if we needed to, and we are hopefully going to, but it's not going to be an expectation that if we do lose that we have done something wrong.
When you look back on your time here, what is the biggest area of growth maybe you've seen in the program in the last 3 or 4 years?
I would say my favorite part is seeing them grow as people. Like them coming in. It doesn't matter if they come in as freshmen or sophomores or transfers. Like they always have, like those years of college are always big growth years, and just to see how they've grown as individuals and teammates and beach volleyball players, that's just really special for me.
I would definitely say the depth. I think that a lot of the people that are the nucleus of this team have been here for 4 to 3 years now, and so I think that we have just been able to continually make our younger players better, continue to grow the depth in our lineup, making it extremely competitive for all our positions, fighting every day, the 1s through 5s. Everyone has that competitive edge to keep pushing each other, and iron sharpens iron. So it's like we're only as good as our weakest link, and I think that we don't really have anyone holding us back this year, which is really awesome.